For over 2,000 years, one celestial event has sparked more wonder and debate than any other: the Star of Bethlehem. The story is a cornerstone of the Christmas narrative. A mysterious star appears in the east, guiding a group of wise men to find a newborn king. It's a powerful image, one that we've seen in art, books, and carols for centuries. But what did those Magi really see? Was it a miracle, a divine sign that exists outside the laws of nature? Or was it a real, spectacular, and explainable cosmic event? Many people just assume the story is purely symbolic, a beautiful piece of fiction. But the account in the Gospel of Matthew is written like a historical record, and it's packed with specific astronomical clues that have sent scientists on a 2,000-year-long investigation. So, we're going to sift through ancient scriptures and modern science to explore one of the most compelling theories about what was happening in the sky. We'll journey back in time, using astronomical software to reconstruct the heavens exactly as the Magi saw them. The answer isn't just one simple thing, but a series of incredible celestial events that, when pieced together, make a powerful case for what the Star of Bethlehem truly was. Our only real account comes from the Gospel of Matthew, and it gives us our starting point. Wise men, who were likely respected astronomer priests from Persia or Babylon, saw a star at its rising in the east. This sight was so important that it convinced them to travel hundreds of miles to Jerusalem to find the newborn King of the Jews. But here's where the story gets stranger. After they consult with the local ruler, King Herod, the star reappears and went ahead of them until it stopped over the place where the child was. This account gives us a checklist that any scientific theory has to match. First, the event had to be significant enough to scream royal birth. Second, it had to be observable, but maybe subtle enough that it wasn't common knowledge after all. King Herod's own court didn't seem to notice it. And third, and this is the most puzzling part, it had to appear to move and then stop over a specific location. No normal star does that. So, what are the candidates? Alright, let's start our investigation with the most common suggestions. First up, a comet. The famous painter Giotto even depicted the star as a comet in a 1305 fresco, probably because he'd recently seen Halley's Comet. And we do have ancient records showing a comet was visible around 5 BC. Comets can hang in the sky for weeks, and their tails might even look like they're pointing. But there's a major problem. In the ancient world, comets were almost always seen as bad omens. They were signs of doom and gloom, disaster, death and destruction, not the birth of a divine king. It's hard to believe the Magi would have seen a comet and, as the Bible says, rejoiced with exceedingly great joy. So, we can probably cross the comet theory off our list. What about a supernova? That's the explosive death of a massive star, an event so bright it can create a new star in the sky that shines for weeks or months. Chinese astronomers who kept fantastic records did note a guest star in 5 BC, which seems to fit the timeline. This theory also has a critical flaw. A supernova explosion leaves behind a massive, expanding cloud of gas and dust called a remnant. After centuries of scanning the skies with powerful telescopes, astronomers haven't found any supernova remnant that dates back to the time of Jesus' birth. The only one recorded around that era was in 185 AD, way too late to be our star. A supernova is a cool idea, but without a cosmic crime scene, it's just speculation. So, if it wasn't a comet or a supernova, what's left? The answer might not be a single object, but a majestic dance of planets. This brings us to what many consider the leading scientific theory today, a series of planetary conjunctions. A conjunction is when two or more celestial objects appear to get very close to each other in our sky. They're not actually close, of course, they're still millions of miles apart. But from our vantage point, they seem to meet. Ancient astrologers, like the Magi, believed the sky was a kind of divine message board, and the movements of the planets held deep meaning. For them, Jupiter was the kingly planet, symbolizing royalty. Saturn was often seen as the protector of the Jewish people, and the constellation Pisces was linked to the nation of Israel. With that in mind, think about what happened in 7 BC. In an incredibly rare event, Jupiter and Saturn had a triple conjunction in the constellation of Pisces. Over about 8 months, the two planets passed each other 3 separate times. To ancient sky watchers, this would have been a flashing neon sign. The kingly planet meeting the protector of Israel in the constellation of Israel 3 times. This alone could have signaled that a major royal birth was coming in Judea. The first conjunction in May of 7 BC would have risen in the east, just as the Bible describes, likely prompting the Magi to start their long journey. A few years later, in 3 and 2 BC, the sky put on an even more breathtaking show. This series of events offers a compelling explanation for the end of the Magi's journey. During this time, Jupiter, our kingly planet, had a series of close encounters with Regulus, the brightest star in the constellation Leo, the Lion. Regulus itself is known as the Star of Kingship, and Leo, the Lion, was the symbol of the tribe of Judah, the very tribe the Jewish Messiah was prophesied to come from. So you have the king planet dancing with the king star in the constellation of Judah. But the grand finale came on June 17, 2 BC. On that night, Jupiter and Venus, the brightest of all planets, often associated with motherhood, appeared to merge into a single, brilliant point of light. Modern astronomers have calculated this conjunction was so close the two planets would have looked like one superstar to the naked eye, an unbelievably rare and awesome sight. This could have been the star that reappeared to the Magi after they left Jerusalem. But what about the most miraculous part of the story, the star that stopped? This is where a fascinating astronomical illusion comes into play: retrograde motion. Because Earth orbits the Sun faster than planets like Jupiter, there are times when, from our perspective, those planets seem to slow down, stop, and even move backward in the sky before continuing on their way. It's a trick of perspective, like when you pass a slower car on the highway and it momentarily looks like it's moving in reverse. Astronomical software lets us rewind the sky with perfect accuracy. It shows that in 2 BC, Jupiter entered retrograde motion and appeared to come to a complete standstill. And from the viewpoint of Jerusalem, this stationary Jupiter was hanging in the southern sky, right in the direction of the small town of Bethlehem. While the exact date is debated by scholars, some have pointed to December 25th of 2 BC as a possible day for this stationary moment. For the Magi, who had followed these signs for months, seeing the kingly planet hold directly over the prophesied town would have been the final, definitive confirmation. They had arrived. So, what was the Star of Bethlehem? The evidence strongly suggests it wasn't a single star at all. It was likely a remarkable series of astronomical events, spread over several years, all loaded with symbolic meaning for the Magi. A triple conjunction to signal the coming birth, followed by Jupiter's dance with a kingly star, a brilliant merger with Venus, and finally, Jupiter appearing to stop in the sky directly over Bethlehem. Now, It's important to remember that this is a theory, and no single explanation is universally accepted among all scholars. For many, the star remains a purely symbolic story or a supernatural miracle. But this astronomical explanation doesn't have to diminish the story. For some, it adds a new layer of wonder. It suggests the universe itself, through its own predictable mechanics, produced a display so profound and perfectly timed that it could be read as a divine announcement. The Bible calls it His star, a unique sign for a unique event. Whether you see it as a miracle, a message written in the language of the cosmos, or a beautiful coincidence, the story of the star still inspires awe. It reminds us that for thousands of years, humanity has looked to the heavens for meaning and hope. It connects a 2,000-year-old story to the grand, intricate clockwork of our universe. The light that guided the Magi may have been born from gravity and orbits, but its power to inspire is as real today as it was 2 millennia ago. This intersection of ancient faith and modern astronomy is what makes the Star of Bethlehem such a timeless mystery. While science can't prove a miracle, it can show us the magnificent cosmic events that were happening in the sky at just the right moment. The star wasn't likely a single object but a celestial symphony, a story told by the planets themselves. What do you think? Do you find the planetary conjunction theory convincing, or do you have another idea? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoy exploring the greatest mysteries of history and the cosmos, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our next investigation. Thanks for watching.